Shut up, Jardin!
Welcome back, questers. This is frequently urgent side questing with our new one-shot encounters that we will be doing. Today we'll be going through an adventure from the Mythic Odysseys of Theros, which last time we used the same group and we did a nice encounter involving a Medusa. It's fun times. So if we want to go around the room and go ahead and reintroduce our fun characters, we'll start with Stacy.
Hello, I'm playing Bird. She is a level 6 ranger, level 2 cleric. Because somebody needs to do the healing, so here I am.
Here she is.
Hi, I'm Jardin, and I'll be playing Rigby, who is a arcane trickster rogue. And that's it, I think. He's really bad with money and loves gambling.
All right, I am
Jeffrey?
Jeffrey. Nope. See? Is it working? No.
Yeah.
All right, playing character named Doffy. He's a kobold wizard. Coward.
I'm Quincy, and I'm playing Kaine, a level 8 Warlock Aasimar.
All right. So, last time on your little adventures, this merry band, I think, was on their way to some important city that they're not really sure about. But anyways, they stuck together after that one strange encounter. And they just kept going with it. Currently, our characters are, again, traveling, but this time in a much bigger group of people. So let me just set the scene for you here. So the sun is sinking low in the west. Shadows are stretching out across this well-traveled road. And you're only about a mile or so out from where your destination is, a small little encampment. And at the current rates you're traveling, everybody around you is also just, walking along this little caravan you're in. You're all pretty tired. You've been traveling for quite a couple hours now. So you should reach your encampment just before dark. Everybody's kind of just walking at their own pace. There doesn't seem to be any sort of hurry. Everybody's kind of relaxed, not a big deal. Y'all are going to get there when you get there. Behind you all, a horse rounds a bend in the road, and it's galloping towards you guys at top speed. Its hooves are clacking along the road. And everybody seems pretty startled at this. And somebody's going to get trampled pretty soon if they don't jump out of the way. The beast looks pretty frantic, terrified. It is frothing at the mouth from how overexerted it is. And upon the horse is a figure wearing a gold mask. The rider can barely stay on his horse, and his body is just riddled with arrows, fletched in black. But in a blind panic, the horse just keeps plowing on, and it's about to collide with a small group of temple goers who are also in your caravan. But before it reaches them, the horse collapses, falls to the ground, and just gives away. The rider falls to the ground right underneath the horse, gets trampled all over. You hear bones break. The horse just, whinnies in defeat and just lies there in a pile of dust and dirt and blood. What do you guys do?
Oh, boy. I mean, I guess rush over it with Bird and be like, oh my gosh, this person needs healing.
Okay.
Yeah, Kaine is just watching from a distance, like not approaching it, not getting involved.
Sure. Jardin, so you make it over there. Rigby makes it over there. Are you directly trying to help this person, or are you trying to get Bird to help this person?
I'm trying to help Bird help this person. Because I don't know much about healing, but I am pretty smart and I can follow directions.
All right, Bird, what are you doing?
Well, first, general inspection, I guess. Like, is he even still alive at
Sure.
this point?
Um,
An inspection.
make well
Medicine check? I
medicine
don't
check.
know.
Yeah, make a medicine check.
I like that Kaine and Doffy are just watching.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, dude came in. That's cool.
17.
All right, yeah, for sure. So you go over and you put your fingers right on his throat, see if he's got a pulse. He is in fact dead. He is very cold to the touch. Actually, he's probably been dead for a while.
Is he tied to the horse?
It looks like at one point he was loosely tied to the horse. Like maybe he tried to keep himself up and he just didn't make it. He bled out before he could get anywhere.
Can I tell how long ago he died?
You can, from your medicine check, you can tell it's been probably a couple hours at least, like long enough for the body to have gotten quite cold, but not long enough that you think that this wasn't fairly recent either.
So this horse has been running a while.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, break off one of the arrows and look at it, I guess, and then sort of rummage around in his clothing, see if there's anything like
Sure.
looking at.
I'll have you make an investigation check for stuff on him.
16.
Okay. So a couple things stand out to you. One, the fact that his skin is strangely gray. And you can tell that it's not gray because that was his natural skin color, but this looks like some sort of an affliction. Where you snapped the arrow at, the wound is like weeping black blood that's kind of coagulated a little bit. Like you kind of poke at it and it just like leaks ooze at you.
Gross.
His mask, which is quite interesting to you.
Rigby has taken that off.
It's also,
And
I
has-
wanted to look at that.
All right,
I want to
Rigby,
look at that
it's in your
too.
hand. It's this beautifully cast gold mask. It's fairly heavy. You guys know this to be a funerary mask. But instead of it being cast from clay, which is pretty usual, it's been cast from gold. Can everybody near the body make me an intelligence check?
Got it.
How near is near?
I mean, like enough to see details.
7.
13.
Okay. Not quite high enough for both of you. This for you though, Rigby, this seems strangely familiar. Like maybe you've heard about something like this somewhere before, but you're just not quite sure where. But yeah, you guys aren't quite sure about this. It seems familiar, but you don't know.
Gotcha. Oh no, this poor man who's died, and we'll have to investigate this mask for later. And he just like puts it into his jacket.
Also, Rigby, by the way.
Yeah.
And maybe this would have helped you. I didn't think about this until just a second. But because you had taken it, and I was describing what you were looking at first. When you removed that mask, by the way, there was no face underneath it.
Oh, really freaking out about that.
Yeah,
Really.
There's no face underneath it. It's only a blank gray, like flesh pulled over a skull type thing with black lipped mouth. And dozens upon dozens of lines of etched symbols are on the inside of the mask.
Oh, I fucking
think
hate
at this
that.
point, Kaine would approach and kind of stand over Bird's shoulder and look at the inscriptions. Do they mean anything to me?
Why
Yeah,
don't you make
Rigby
an
just
intelligence
hands out
check?
the mask and he's like, this is your domain of shit. Here you go.
Is it Arcana, bud?
Just make me an intelligence check.
I
14.
poke.
Not quite high enough. You feel more familiar than Rigby did, but also it's just like on the tip of your tongue, in the back of your mind. There's some information just won't come forward to you right now, but this is just something maybe out of mythos that just is just there somewhere. Not quite, you can't quite reach it.
I kind of poke at the face a little bit. Do I feel like a nose ridge, an eye ridge, like a brow ridge where there would be a socket? Like, does it feel like a human skull or a humanoid skull
No.
underneath there?
Well, it kind of does, but where the sockets of the nose and the nostrils and all that would have been, feels like it's been filled in with more bone. So, like, instead of being able to, like, poke through if you were to, like, cut it open or something, it looks like maybe, like, more bone has grown into those spaces. Like, it wasn't needed anymore, so the skull just got rid of it.
Oh, nasty.
Can I kneel down and inspect the body and see if this was done intentionally, if this is necromantic, if this is some sort of simulacrum, etc., etc.?
Sure. Yeah. Go ahead and roll for that.
Kaine's so smart.
Kaine is not smart. Kaine just knows about this particular subject. Just for the record, Kaine's intelligence is a 13.
Gotcha. Rigby thinks Kaine is smart.
That's nice. God, I always forget how to use D&D Beyond every time we do this. What skill do you want me to use, bud?
Maybe either Arcana or History, something you've got higher.
Okay, so it's only a 12.
Okay. No, not quite. Again, it feels like you've read this somewhere. Read about it somewhere. You're just not quite sure. But that being said, with all of your combined brain powers, you guys guess that this is some sort of cipher. Some weird patterns have been constantly repeated. Like maybe this had some sort of message or meaning to it. But while you guys are observing this body, you hear once more the clack, 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 clack of racing hoofboots on the road behind you. And around the bend runs two more horses with black mounted riders atop them. They're wearing dark tunics, and they also are wearing these golden masks as they glint upon the last of the fading sun.
These ones are not full of arrows, right?
They're not. They are they're running straight for the caravan, and they are drawing weapons as they come. So with that,
Rigby starts running back towards the caravan going, not dead, these aren't dead!
Right.
Rolling initiative? Are we rolling initiative?
Roll initiative.
Sweet.
19.
19.
Oh,
Okay.
fuck.
20.
20. Excellent.
It's like the best initiative I've ever had.
25.
Oh, fuck. I have a +8, but you win, I guess.
I have a +7, but I rolled an 18.
Why do I fucking bother? Why do I show up?
16.
You're good for all sorts of things.
You're the one that chose to play a wiggly magic boy, okay?
But Bird and Rigby have the alert
I
feat
miss-
too.
I miss Merlin so much.
Okay, Kaine is 19. What is Doffy?
16.
16. Okay.
So, Bud, that lab is outside, and Pippin is just like, "Oh my god, there's a dog out there!"
Yeah,
And it's very funny.
yeah, because she's very nice, that dog.
Yeah, they just walked right out there, and I was like, "Oh, people out of the mist."
Out from the yard comes people. All right, and so these black-cloaked sentries rolled an 18 and a 14. So lucky for you guys, y'all are quick on your feet.
That's good.
Alrighty. Okay.
I'm realizing slowly that Rigby is a little bit of a coward.
You're only just now realizing this.
Just a little bit more and more as I play with him.
So Rigby, as these two horsemen of the apocalypse are riding down on you, what do you do?
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that.
That's what it feels
Oh,
like
gosh.
in this moment. Black cloaked figures pulling out crossbows at you.
Yeah. Like, is it war, pestilence, death, famine? I don't know. He's running to the nearest cart and hiding as a cunning action.
All right.
Would you like a stealth for that?
I would like a stealth for that, please.
Okay, 23.
Yeah, successfully you scramble into the nearest wagon and put yourself in one of the barrels.
Sweet. And then I pop up out of the barrel and I throw a dagger at one of the riders and I pop back into the barrel.
All right. Roll an attack for me.
Oh, fuck me. It's only a 10. Gosh.
No. Not quite, my dude.
No.
You're too swift. Yeah. Couldn't get the right angle. All right.
Does he have advantage because he was hidden?
Yeah, he does actually.
Oh, sweet. Nat
Rogue.
20!
Nice! All right.
Thanks,
Roll your
Britt. Thanks,
damage.
Rigby. I rolled max damage. Hell yeah. For a total of 10.
10 points. All right. Well, your dagger comes out
fuck,
of
I get sneak attack.
Yeah, you do. You do get sneak attack.
Which I didn't roll great, but that's another 10 damage.
All right, sweet.
Hell yeah. And that's the end of my turn.
All right. So your dagger comes flying out of nowhere and just like shinks him in the shoulder, and he kind of rigs back a little bit, but he keeps on charging like nothing happened.
I hate that.
Bird, your turn.
Okay. Is there? I don't want to hide specifically, but like, is there something nearby I can use for cover?
Sure. There's other little like carts and wagons. Everybody here in this caravan's on foot. So there's just like, people carrying all their stuff or like holding little hand carts and stuff like that. So there's plenty of stuff you can jump behind.
Okay, great. I would like to do that. And also, while I'm doing that, I'm definitely like yelling at everybody to get down.
Sure.
Because there are civilians in this group.
As soon as weapons were drawn by the other
Seriously,
sentries, like all the civilians started to scramble. Like there's
yeah.
no armed guard for this caravan. They thought their little jaunt was going to be just from like one encampment village to the next, and they were just going to be doing their thing. These roads have always been very safe, so why would they ever think about guards?
That was the mistake. Okay. Let's see. I don't think. Okay. I'm going. Oh wait, I forgot. 1 second. It thinks I don't have any spell slots because I forgot to like do anything after the last time. Okay.
Sure, yeah.
I'm going to cast Hail of Thorns on myself. And I think that's an extra D10. It's a save. The save's not great, but that's okay. Anyway, and then I'm going to aim whatever one is closest to me with a longbow.
All right.
That's a nat 20.
Nice.
Yeah.
Going big today.
So they also have to roll a DC 13 Dex save.
Okay.
Them and anyone within 5 feet of them, which is probably no one, but you know.
Well, both of them then, because they're pretty close to each other.
Cool, great. I did not roll max damage, but actually, I have a question. So since I rolled a nat 20, does that double just the weapon damage, or is that also doubling the damage I would do from the spell if they fail the save? I'm assuming just the weapon damage.
I think it's normally because you were attacking with your longbow, so I think it's just your weapon damage.
Okay, that's kind of what I figured, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. And then everything else just gets added on top of that.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, you said Dex save, right?
Yeah, DC 13 Dex save.
Okay. So one was a 14 and the other one was a 12.
Okay. So the one who fails takes 4 damage from Hail of Thorns.
Okay.
There's also, let's see, 11 damage from general longbow damage. The one that, or sorry, I'm getting things backwards. The one who succeeded the save takes 4 from Hail of Thorns, 8 for the other guy, 11 damage from the longbow.
Okay, so the longbow was the guy closest to you, which also is the guy that succeeded. So he takes a total of 15 points of damage. And then the other guy takes 8.
Okay. And then I'm going to go for another one because I have 2 tech actions. Fuck you guys. Not a nat 20 this time. That is a 14.
Nope, not quite.
Fuck.
Yeah. Their AC is pretty decent.
Okay, well, that's
also
fine.
They're riding on a horse, so you know.
So maybe I'll try to hit the horse. Maybe the horse will fall and they'll fall and the horse will crush them and then they'll die and I won't have to do anything.
Okay. Anyways, all right. So you try to hit it again, and you just whoosh, rode past your arrow, and it's still coming down on y'all peoples. So with that, it is Kaine's turn.
All right, so Kaine steps forward, and takes the split second and the 6-second action to look at them, and just assess whether or not they seem to be the same as the creature that is dead. And then is going to cast a firebolt at whichever one is in the lead.
Okay, that's the sentry number 1. It is the same one that Rigby and Bird have hit so far.
Right,
So
that's
he's
an
got,
18 to
he's got
hit.
a knife in one shoulder, he's got an arrow in the other shoulder. He don't care.
18 to hit.
That hits, yeah.
Sorry, it's like I didn't actually organize them at all. All right. Ooh, 10 damage.
Okay. Big old flame burst to the face. Robes catch a little bit before, going out.
Can I use my bonus action to make a perception check?
Sure. It doesn't even, by the way, it doesn't even scream as all of your weapon attacks hit it and do all this damage. It is clearly taking damage. It just
18.
18. It's just riding on at you. You don't hear any specific grunts or sounds or shouts or anything from them. You just hear the galloping of the horse footsteps, and yeah, they're just getting ready to fire. That's it. They do look exactly the same as this other one, though, by the way. The dead one.
Golden masks and all.
Golden masks and all. All right. So with that, it is beat up dude number 1's turn. And he draws his crossbow. And let's see here. Let's roll. All right. So it decides not to hit either one of you guys and goes straight for a civilian. Just fires into the crowd.
Oh boy. Can I try to? I don't know what I can do, but I would like to try to stop that.
Let's see here. Make a dexterity check for me to see if
A
you
saving
can.
throw or just a straight dex check?
Just a dex check. I want to see if you can just like get to the civilian and knock him out of the way or something.
No, I fucking crit failed.
Okay. You
Fuck, now I've probably tripped and I don't have cover and I don't help anybody.
yeah,
Great.
maybe you stepped on your own tail or something. Do Tabaxis actually have tails?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you just tripped over something. You just couldn't get up fast enough. And it hit a dirty 20 on that one. Yeah. So
That person's fucking dead, probably.
yeah, so yeah, just this crossbow bolt goes straight through this peasant, just bursts out of the chest kind of thing as they're running away, and the guy gurgles on his own blood and falls dead to the floor.
I told all of you to get down. Okay.
All right. But you know, the crossbow looks like it takes a quick second to reload anyways, so he's not gonna shoot another one just this second. With that, it's Doffy's turn.
Alright, so how far am I from this since I didn't go up with the others to investigate?
You're somewhere between Kaine and the caravan. So you're still pretty close to the caravan. I would say you're probably near where Rigby is because he scrambled back into the caravan. So you're like kind of near a wagon. You're still pretty decently far out.
Okay. How far are the guys?
You're within spell range, that's for sure. You're just not within like striking range or anything like that.
Don't even care about strikes. First, I make a mental note to mention to Rigby that we should loot the dead person.
Okay.
Then, I'm just simply the one who shot the bolt. I'm just gonna do Toll of the Dead on them. So they have to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. For both of them, right? Or just the one?
Just the one. Just the one.
Okay. That's a 19.
Ooh, yeah, they made it. Good for them.
Okay. Is there any sort of negative effects for making that?
Nope, that's not the right one. Nope, there's no negative for me.
Okay.
My fancy little ha, and then it just flies by them, and I go, oh, right.
All right. Any bonus actions?
That is a negative.
Okay. Alrighty. So with that, it is Sentry number 2's turn. And he also pulls out a crossbow bolt. Let's see here. Who does he go after? Rolling. He shoots at Kaine. So he sets his eyes on you. And no, that's a 5.
Nope.
No. So maybe the horse just like hit a rock in the road or something like that, but his crossbow just like up when it fires at you. Goes right over your head. Off into the trees.
Kaine looks both unimpressed and sadly, strangely disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The horse rider does not, in fact, have any sort of facial features, obviously, but you get the sense that it's also disappointed in itself. All right. With that, we're back up to the initiative with Bird.
Doesn't Rigby before me?
It is Rigby. I'm sorry. It is Rigby.
I was gonna let Bird go first. The more capable one. Rigby like kind of pops out of the barrel and looks around and like sees where that villager had got like, or that commoner had been shot through the chest, and is just like, oh, fuck, and gets out of the barrel and just starts running towards one of the horses, draws his short sword and goes to attack one of the riders.
All right.
And that's going to be a 19 to hit.
Yeah, that definitely hits.
Okay. And that is 7 points of damage.
Alrighty.
And as a bonus action, I'll take a disengage or dodge. Can I do that?
Okay.
No, I can't. Oh boy. I'll take the disengage action and just kind of like flank away a little bit if I can, so I'm not sort of like in any direct melee range of either rider.
Sure. The momentum from the horse like helps you kind of skitter your way out of the path.
Sweet. And that's it for me.
All right, Bird.
Okay. First question, do I still have any cover, or did I like fall out of cover when I failed to
No, you stayed within cover, just like you couldn't like stand up pretty much fast enough.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna try to fucking hit the guy again.
All right.
Nope. Attempt number 2. Maybe. 17?
That hits.
Okay, great. Ba-dum. So I'm gonna roll a d8 and another d10 for Hail of Thorns. That's the wrong thing. Okay. So 10 damage. And then question. So I have this ability, Horde Breaker. So once on each of my turns, when I make a weapon attack, I can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature within 5 feet of the original person. Is that considered like a separate attack action, or could I just try to snipe the guy next to him as part of the same attack?
I think yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay. Then
Because
I'm gonna
the
try to
wizard, so.
get that guy too.
All right.
19.
Yep, that hits.
Oh my gosh, what dice am I rolling? Ha 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 ha. Okay, I did more damage on that guy than I did the first guy. So 8 plus 17?
Nice.
17 damage. Because Hail of Thorns.
Bird, you got anything else?
Nope, I do not.
Alrighty, then it is Kaine's turn.
Seeing Doffy fail, I'm also going to try and toll the dead on the first guy.
Okay.
So it's a wisdom save of 15, please.
Okie dokies, artichokes. $14.
Nope.
All right.
Alright, so that's 12 damage, please.
Alrighty. Is that the one closest to you?
Yeah.
Okay. He is looking not so great anymore. What else
If
you
you're capable of it, I recommend surrender.
They don't super seem to respond.
Thought not, but figured I'd give them the chance.
Okay. It is sentry number 1's turn. So the sentry finally notices the body of the other rider on the floor. And while all of you guys were backing off and trying to fight them off and whatnot, a villager had tried, well, a priest actually had tried to sneak up close to the body to try to see if he could help in any way, shape, or form. And upon seeing the priest near the body, this like guttural, like chalkboard on nails type voice comes out of the sentry as it yells, "Get away from the heretic, you bleeder!" And just like draws a spear from the side of the from the horse he's riding and like thrusts it down at the priest, like straight through like the neck, like into the body type, like full chaos, and just like flicks the man like dead off of his spear, before rounding back at you guys, and like just like raising his spear to like throw it.
Listen, all I'm saying is I already looked at the body, so the priest should have seen that and like just been, oh yeah, he's already dead. And now he's dead. So
And so,
Bird's just like, I'm trying to fucking save you. What the fuck are you doing?
all right, who is nearest to them still? Is that
I'm
Bird?
still right by the body, aren't I?
I think so. I think you didn't
Because I
move.
didn't go for
You
cover
didn't
or
move.
anything, so I must be right
So
there.
you're right next to them now. So he's gonna go after you with the spear.
I'm also right there because I ran up and attacked one.
Right, you did. Okay. All right. That's a 17. Does that hit you, Kaine? Yep. Okay. With the spear. Da, 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 da. And it strikes you for 8 points of damage. And it's kind of weird too because as the spear like enters your shoulder, it just seems so frigid and cold, but it's not actually cold damage. You just get this feeling in your soul, like life has no meaning and like everything dies in the end. Just for the briefest of seconds before the spear like is ripped out of your shoulder again.
So Kaine doesn't feel any different than normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Doffy, it's your turn.
Yeah. Kaine looks up at him, like makes eye contact, and it's like, well, not eye contact because they don't have eyes, but it's
Make
just like,
last contact.
cute. Nice. All right.
We're on the same page, man. All right.
Come through. Let's see. I'm going to again try to hit Toll the Dead on the person I last cast it on because now I'm just a little jealous that
Gotcha. All right, go
Kaine
ahead.
got one off and I didn't.
Alrighty.
Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
That's a 12. Alrighty.
That does not save you. So and he's
Yeah.
damaged already, right? That's fun. 15 points. Of damage.
Alrighty.
Damn.
You catch the spear holder by surprise and you knock him off his horse. And he goes flying backwards and lands on his back. And he seems not dead, but maybe passed out. Like the impact just kind of shook him a bit.
Kalik,
Huh?
was that necrotic damage that I took?
Yeah.
Oh, then it's halved. I'm resistant.
Oh, well, there you go. All right, Doffy, you got anything else?
No, I'm just gonna have a little sly look of being like, got it.
Yeah, the horse goes running off. The horse is like, I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'm getting out of here. Just like speeds off into the sunset. All right, Rigby, it's back up.
So that guy is just knocked off. We don't know if he's dead or not.
Right.
Okay, so Rigby's just gonna call out, be like, "Good job, Doffy," and then just gonna swing around and try to attack the other guy on the horse.
Alrighty.
For 18.
That
Which
hits.
is pretty good. Is Kaine is right next to me, right? So technically so I get sneak attack on that. So that's gonna be 12 damage total.
Alrighty. Yeah, as you swat him with your sword, he like tries to knock the blade out of your hand, but you sink it into his arm, and like black ooze drips out of it, and he just like growls at you about being a filthy liver, and you're like, what?
I don't
yeah. All right, Bird. What you got for
Okay.
us?
Okay. How many
There's just
of
the one
them
left,
are there?
and the other one's
still?
knocked out on the floor.
Just the one. Okay. Then I'm not gonna do what I was thinking about doing then. I'm just gonna shoot him with my bow
Alrighty.
again. 16?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna roll the second one while I'm at it, and that one also hits. Okay, where's my D8? So he takes 13 damage total for both attacks.
Alrighty. Alright. Arrows lodge into the leg of the rider, doesn't seem to make a grunt at all and just tries to cut the closest person down. Pulls out a wicked-looking scimitar-type blade and just kind of growling and gnashing type aggressiveness. All right, Kaine, you're up.
So, it's right next to
Yeah.
me, right?
Mhm.
It's on the
Yep.
horse. How high would you say it
How
is?
tall are you?
I don't know, like fairly tall, I think. 6-foot-ish.
I would say like your head is where like the rider's leg is.
Mm. Okay, I'm just going to I want it to be cool, but I don't think I can reach. I'm just gonna cast Firebolt again.
Okay,
Natural 20.
excellent.
Whew. Heck yeah.
All right, so that is 4d10s. Well, it's a crit, so that ups it a bit.
That's so much.
Okay, so that is 19 points of damage.
Nice.
It's not quite half what I could have done.
Sure. Okay. That guy's dead, so it's Doffy's turn. Well, not dead, but unconscious.
Are they both unconscious or just?
No, the first guy's unconscious. It's your turn though, because the other guy's last.
I thought you said he was unconscious. No. Oh, you meant the next guy in the initiative order was unconscious. Got it.
Uh huh.
Mm. Fine. So I can see the one who's still up and doing his thing, right?
Uh-huh.
Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and cast Ray of Sickness. That is a nat 20 to hit, so 27 altogether.
Damn, you guys. Everybody must be playing with loaded dice today.
It's your phone! So, because, Jeffrey, what do I do when it's a nat 20?
You
That change
double
anything?
the damage points and then add whatever modifiers you have on afterwards.
Okay.
You can either roll double the dice or you can double your normal dice afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that will be. So that's 18 damage. 18 poison damage. And he has to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, well, you killed him. So he
then
can make a Constitution saving throw.
fuck his throw then.
Yeah,
Did we just make a T-shirt? They can't make con saves if they're dead.
Yeah, can't make con saves if they're dead. Yeah, you also knock that one off his horse, and as he hits the ground, his neck snaps, and the horse also speeds off into the distance. These horses are like, man, fuck this shit, I'm out. All right.
Dang,
Guys,
okay. Getting some really nice Nazgul vibes off of those guys.
Uh-huh.
Rigby doesn't really know what to do, so he kind of looks at Bird and Kaine like, da da da.
Can I go look at like the masks and see if they're the same as the first one? And generally if they're weird and gross and faceless?
Sure, yeah.
That was I was gonna go to the other one and take the mask off.
Sure. You guys go over to wait, which one are you going over to? Are you going over to the first one that was downed or the one that just went down?
Either one of us can take one, the other can do the other.
Sure. Okay. Whoever goes after the first one who was downed, make a dex check for me. Dex saving, actually. Dex save.
Would that one be closest to me? I don't
Probably.
know. I'm
Well, you're
okay.
behind the barrel, I guess, if you came out and went to that one.
I'll take it. Oh, I mean, okay.
I was right next to it too, so I would be near whomever is checking it.
Sure.
Yeah. So I just rolled to see if I would get evens or odds and figured I would go from there.
Okay.
Natural 1.
Oh, okay. Was not expecting that to actually work. You take 3 points of piercing damage under your rib cage as he briefly wakes up and has a small dagger in his hand, and with his last dying shudder calls you a filthy bleeder and dies after he sticks you.
He's
Cute.
very rude.
Now you may
So
take
I
the
take his mask. Yeah.
Huh?
I take his mask and I go over to the priest that was trying to look at the first body, and I put it on the dead body just to see.
Nothing happens.
Checking.
Sure. The masks are both golden funeral masks, but they are very different in stylization and demeanor. The first mask that you guys found was actually kind of weirdly almost V-shaped. The face from here goes out and it has kind of weird angular styling towards the face that looks like a V. And it's very sharp facial feature angled, and it's very detailed with different types of floral type design work, and it's very elegant and fancy, as opposed to these other masks you see, which are just round circular face plates that all look kind of commonly stamped out. And these ones also do not have any sort of writing on the inside like the first mask had. But they are solid gold.
I'm going to put one in my bag.
Okay. You've received gold mask.
Rigby goes and checks on that one person who had got shot. They're just dead, right?
Yeah, it completely pierced through the chest cavity and just...
Gotcha. And they had a family of any kind around them, or were they a lone traveler?
He looked to be some sort of farmer or merchant or something like that, and there's a little girl crying next to him.
Oh no, fuck, orphans are my weakness.
Now I don't want to yell out, loot him!
Yeah, she's shaking him and, crying out, Papa, Papa.
While everyone else is doing everything, Rigby's just going to take a while to sit with her and just help her grieve.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, there's another priestess who comes over and sits next to the child too, and is just stroking her hair and whatnot, and talking in some sort of maybe their native tongue or something.
Mm-hmm. Rigby takes.
Kaine walks over and kind of.
Rigby just lets her take over as the more the better official to handle the situation, and takes all the gold he has on his person and just hands it to her and says, "Just take care of her," and walks back to the group.
All right. Let's see here. Roll me a d20, Jardin.
16.
You had 160 gold on your person.
Yeah, I think Rigby does just doesn't even count, just plops it right there.
Fair,
and
yeah.
just walks back to the group.
All right.
So I think Kaine walks over to her while she's being consoled by the priestess and is like doing that thing where he thinks he's being helpful.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no.
And it's basically kind of droning on about how it's fine, everybody dies, one day you too will die, it's just part of the process, the cycle. You know, it's perfectly natural, and he's just like talking and like being absolutely not helpful at all.
Yeah.
But thinks he's being a balancing factor
Sure.
to the priestess, who he like thinks like everything she's saying is total drivel because like none of it's just platitudes. So he like thinks he's being very helpful.
Right. Yeah, she kind of like sobs a little louder as you talk to her.
Grief is
going
good. It's good to express these things.
Okay.
The priestess.
Kaine, why don't we just, there's something very interesting over here that I think maybe you should look at. Yeah, so just, why don't you just come with me? We're just going to go over here. It'll be really cool. I promise.
I can tell when you're pandering to me. You know that, right?
Just come with me, you stupid idiot.
Right.
Fine, but only because I want to.
Bird like
Bingo.
grabs your sleeve and is just slowly dragging you off away from this crying child. Doffy, what are you doing?
She'll thank me someday.
Yeah, sure. Uh-huh.
Will she? Will she? Not much really, I guess. Just looking around and seeing the air of everything, just shaking my head, being like, muttering to myself, being like, Rigby, let a kid stop you from looting.
Oh my gosh. Rigby
just
just kind of
kinda-
like shrugs and kind of like knocks Doffy on the shoulder and he goes, "Nah, we'll get more money somewhere else. Hey, how about we try and work on this cipher?" And holds up that mask, the one in the V shape, and it's just like they called him a heretic and they called us bleeders. I don't understand.
All right. Let's see here. It's probably been long enough. Y'all can make another intelligence check if you want.
Uh, 17.
Ooh, very good.
12.
Not so good.
$23.
Excellent.
Wow.
He's a wizard, guys. He's really smart.
I know, that's why I asked him to help.
Okay.
He's just a fucking coward.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
don't tell people I'm
So
smart.
Doffy comes over and Rigby, with like Doffy next to you side by side, you get a spurt of inspiration as well. And you notice that the symbols etched along the interior are quite unreadable glyphs, but you guys do recognize a word of Kia that stands out prominently to you. You're not quite sure what it means. But while you guys are trying to decipher this, suddenly everything goes dead silent around you all. And it seems like the color is starting to bleed from the surrounding area around you guys. It's not quite that golden, dark hue when the sun sets now. It's all grays and shadows and cold, except for the gleaming masks. Brief second later, though, everything turns to normal, and you're not quite sure, guys, if you were just imagining this or what, but sound comes back and everything seems to be normal. And then you hear like a large thunderclap that none of the other caravaneers seem to hear or notice, and y'all get the faintest whisper in your ears of a name, and it's Phenax. Phenax. And you'd know this to be a god in your pantheon.
Oh boy. Okay.
By our pantheon, do you mean the dominant pantheon, or do you mean our personal pantheon?
No, the dominant pantheon. As you guys are like looking over this mask, and you kind of are looking back and forth at each other, and maybe one of you whispers the name out loud without really meaning to. One of the priestesses in the caravan walks by and gets drawn over to you all and says, Kia, the great sage? Is that what that means? And kind of like tilts her head and is not really like interacting with you guys. Is kind of just looking over your shoulders, almost as if like she's in this kind of weird trance state, and just goes, there's a library in Polis, as she says very slowly to you guys. Maybe there, and just kind of walks away.
Excuse me. What? Maybe there. What? What are you talking about?
And she doesn't really seem to notice you guys as she just blends back into the crowd.
Ma'am? Excuse me. Can I like try to follow her? Also, does she seem like herself, or does it seem like weird?
It seems like when somebody's got a good buzz going on. Like that's kind of the same like demeanor she gave off. And just kind of, like I said, just like was doing her thing. Polis, by the way, Polis, is a city not too far away from the encampment you're going to. It's probably about an hour west of there. It's a pretty popular city, to be a great learning point. It's always filled with like colleges and scholars and great libraries, and knowledge there is how they really run their economy.
Interesting.
So
Rigby's
Kaine
just
follows
like,
her
go ahead.
and puts a hand on her shoulder and goes, "Come on, we're all friends here. What's in Polis?"
She
And
kind
I
of
have friends.
she like looks at you like she's aghast that you're touching a priestess, and tells you to mind yourself and that she is a lady of the cloth, sir. She does not allow strange men to touch her in such a manner. She also doesn't seem to recognize you at all.
Kaine, come back.
So my spell does nothing?
What did you do to her?
Friends.
Oh, well, sure. She gets friendly with you after a second. She's like, yes, can I help you?
Never mind.
Kind
Kaine
of
goes
like,
back to the group.
looks at you confused, like, huh, what a strange man, and walks away.
Kaine, do you remember that time in Carseal where that guy was possessed? And he did like the weird slow talk thing. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, like, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, like, divine messenger, something, I don't know. We all just had that weird, freaky moment where all the lights turned out for a second and we heard whispering, and then suddenly some lady comes out of the crowd and talks to us.
I didn't experience that, did you?
He squints at Kaine and looks at everyone else.
Doffy, did
Don't
you?
be an asshole. We all know you saw it too.
If you're hallucinating, you really should talk to somebody about that, Bird.
Oh my
Did
gosh.
you know that I hate you?
Yeah, it's a common sentiment.
Yeah, because you're a jerk. Yeah. Anyway, maybe we should go look at this library? I don't know what's there, but it's books with something important, maybe? I don't know.
Also, besides the mask, did you guys actually go rifling through the pockets of the riders? I know you went through the first guy who died, but I didn't know if you guys went through the two you guys killed.
Rigby and Doffy would have done that
Doffy and
eventually.
Rigby have. Yeah.
Well, besides the masks, y'all guys find 20 gold. And you find strange pieces of broken pottery in their pockets as well.
Do they look like they have anything written on them? Or, like, what makes them weird?
Would you like to make an intelligence check?
I will certainly try.
May I as well?
Yeah, totally.
12. I'm not that smart. I'm like average smart.
I got way lower than that. I think Rigby's like, oh yes, 20 gold, and he goes over to Doffy and he starts divvying it up.
Okay. Stacy, your 12 is just barely enough. You recognize these as shards of ostraca. They're the clay versions of funeral masks. Which Kaine, you specifically would know that this is used as a strange form of currency in the underworld.
I would hold on to that.
Sure. I'll just shove all the bits in my bag, I guess.
And let's see here. One more roll. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Who went through the pockets first, would you say?
I would say Doffy took one and Rigby took the other one.
Okay. Well then both of you guys find like a weird like papyrus almost type scroll piece of paper with the words "Silence the heretic Varius. His secrets must remain dead." Almost like a set of instructions.
Oh boy.
The name, by the way, Varius is spelled Varyas.
Gotcha. Must remain dead.
So we
well, this
both
is
got a
conspicuous,
scroll that
isn't
said
it?
that?
One more time, Jeffrey.
I said, so we each found one of these scrolls that says that?
Yeah. You guys can come to the conclusion that both of these might have been assassins sent after a man named Varius.
Gotcha. Well, I think we're gonna find answers in Polis, wherever that is.
Alrighty. So
Not that Rigby's a particularly religious person, but he just like tries to pray for a second to Venex, right? Was it
Phenax, yeah.
Venex? Yeah, and it's just
Phenax.
like
Phenax. Phenax.
Venex. Okay, and it's just like, hey, what's up? Like, what do you want, man? Sending us weird messengers and dealing with weird dead things. Like, what do we have to do this? Are we gonna get smited? Smote?
Make a religion check for me.
Okay. 9.
9. Okay. You don't get very much, but you do hear a soft, like, kind of chuckle. You're not sure if you just imagined it or not, though.
Gotcha. I have a weird question. Do we know that Kaine is a warlock, or do we just think Kaine does weird magic stuff?
You
No,
do not know that Kaine is a warlock.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
I am going to go through my tome that I got from my pact and see if my patron has any insider knowledge about this god or this situation that we found ourselves in.
Sure. You make
Okay.
Is that also technically a religion check? Yeah.
16.
Okay. Much better. You don't really hear words. You get pictures of what seems like someone trying to hide information from this man Varius, who you get another image of the first dead guy filled with arrows, that kind of points to you that that was Varus. So obviously he did get silenced in the end. And you get the name Kia, as once again that was mentioned on the mask, like over and over again. And you hear, hide from the eyes of mortals and gods, lies wither in Orestes rot, over and over, kind of being like whispered into you, and you get kind of drawn towards the mask.
Do I feel like these whispers are coming from my patron or from an outside source?
No, you get the idea that your patron is giving you clues. Like there's another force possibly fighting your patron on information. So your patron is giving you what they can. You get that the words spoken to you are part of the mask's cipher.
Okay. So I want to take the mask and take some time to study it.
Sure.
Silently by myself.
Okay. Well, while you all are doing this, the caravan seems to be back up and moving, and kind of hurriedly so towards the encampment, trying to get themselves behind a palisade, more cover for the night, and looks like a guard contingent is riding up from the encampment towards you all, very likely in aid, as they saw you guys being attacked from the walls. So the riders should be upon you all soon for an escort as you guys make your way towards the encampment for the night.
Sweet.
If we were close enough that they could see us, how come they didn't help earlier?
I mean, they probably could see you guys, but it wasn't going to be like soon enough to get to y'all.
It's really only been a couple minutes.
Yeah. All right. So
Are we camping here?
yeah, I mean
Heading, or are we
it's
going
pretty much
off?
dark. You guys, your initial reasoning for coming to the encampment was probably just some simple like escort type thing, or like, oh, we had to go here for some sort of side thing. It was just
Like a delivery
rather,
drop off.
yeah, it was just a one stop on your way to wherever the next adventure takes you to, kind of thing, which is how you guys have been living your life for the last several months since meeting. Just one side quest to the next. So you guys stop.
So do we get paid?
Yeah. You guys drop off the bundle you had with you. It was just some like really expensive pork belly fat and shit like that. That one merchant wanted you to drop off to his brother in the guard that works there and whatnot. And it was just a simple drop and go. Y'all get another 15 gold from the delivery. And of course you get like free meals for the night from the camp cook, like everybody else does. So you guys all get whatever you want to eat and grab a couple ales and find yourself a nice little bedroll to sleep in for the night. Kaine, are you planning on working on this mask into the night? Are you planning on resting?
I'll stay up for a bit and see what I can glean from it.
Sure.
If I don't take a long rest, am I going to get a point of exhaustion?
Yes.
Then I will not stay up past that point.
Okay. So you stay up for a couple of hours and you get the feeling that the knowledge of this mask is on the tip of your tongue, but it's just unattainable without sleep right now. So
I'd go to sleep.
all right.
Who handles our money?
Not me.
So I go to Bird, and I give her my 10 gold that I found on the body. And I'm assuming Bird also got the 15 gold that we got from being paid. And I gave Doffy half of the whatever, because Doffy does whatever he does with the money. And Rigby asks if he can have 2 gold pieces.
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Yes! Okay, he takes the gold and he runs off to go find a tavern to gamble in.
Yeah,
And he does that until he gets tired.
You find a ramshackled tavern that all of the guards folk here often frequent, and you can see them all like, playing knucklebones and stuff like that with each other, and they're clearly gambling and drinking.
Sweet. Yeah, I'll just spend my night doing that until I get tired, and then go hit the hay.
Also, currency question. Bird just has 5,000 gold listed in her inventory that I'm assuming is from the
It's
last
from it's
thing,
from the
but I
payout.
don't. Okay, so this is money I actually have.
Yeah, this is for the party. I would go
Yeah,
ahead and
okay.
probably duck about, I would say about 1,000 gold out of that, since that was a couple of months ago.
That's fine. I knew it must have been there for a reason, but I was like, I don't remember what this is from, and it seems like a lot.
Yeah, y'all have been living the
Rigby-
high life for the last couple of months.
Rigby also just, like, without even counting, donated 160 gold to an orphan that he just met.
That's kind of just what Rigby does, so.
Yeah.
All right. So, y'all wake up. Sun is shining in your eyeballs. It hurts because fuck the sun. What are y'all gonna do?
So this is just the encampment, right?
Yeah.
The city with the library is still like what you
It's
said,
about
it
an
was
hour
away.
west from the encampment. You get the
Okay.
feeling that this encampment is just like a
Just like a
stopping point on the
waypoint,
road
yeah.
between busy cities, so that people don't have to travel the roads at night.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Well, I'm going to get breakfast first. And then, I don't know, I guess see if everyone else is awake. And,
Did
see
I
if we
win any
can head
money
out.
last night?
Let's see here. Roll a d20 for me.
7. Am I adding anything to that?
No.
I
You
had a plan.
you won 500 gold, and then you
What
lost
the fuck?
it, and then you
Okay.
won 20 gold, and you lost that, and then you won a man's boots, and then you won his belt and his longsword because he didn't have any cash, and you lost all your cash. So now you have a pair of fine leather boots, a silver-studded sword belt, and a well cared for longsword.
Could I have found someone to trade a rapier for the longsword?
Sure, yeah.
Sweet.
You traded it. You have a nice looking rapier. Let's say it's a +1.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, cool. That was a good night of gambling.
Out of a 7, I know.
Well, see, I actually flipped it this time. I normally do like 10 through 20 is the good stuff, and I was like, nah, if he rolls lower than a 10, I'll give him something. If you would have rolled like a 1 or something like that, I was gonna give you something really good.
Nice, okay.
So
Sweet.
Kaine wakes up and is kind of like taking stock like he does every morning about whether or not he had any weird dreams last night, because that's a thing. And I'm assuming he didn't. So he just is like, well, I guess we're winging it, and just gets up and starts his day.
You did have some weird dreams last night. Not any that were particularly memorable. You just keep remembering flashes of the dead body of Urias and hearing the name of the city Polis over and over again, but you don't really remember what the dreams were about. That's it. All right. So the rest of you eventually meet around the big encampment fire, where they're serving up large bowls of cooked oats and large portions of rashers, and even some very fancy squeezed citrus juice. Although it's got a lot of seeds in it. It's kind of weird. I don't have a strainer.
Kaine adds alcohol to the weird citrus juice.
It tastes
You just
like
invent
something nobody would
screwdrivers?
eat during brunch.
Either screwdrivers or some sort of mimosa, depending on how shitty the alcohol is. And is thinking about the living horses that the undead things were riding, and how sometimes the world is a strange place, and is just mumbling to himself
Yeah.
while he waits for. I assume Kaine is probably the first person up, other than maybe Bird. So I think he's been sitting by the campfire, just like kind of like day drinking for a while.
Yeah. Also, they have this weird drink, this weird dark brewed item that they call Western Brew. It smells really good, and it seems to energize the soldiers here. They're all like piling over.
Nice.
Kaine
One
is intrigued.
of the old crotchety soldiers like looks at you and like
Coffee.
winks at you as he pulls out a flask and pours a little into his Western Brew and walks away sipping happily.
Kaine immediately casts friends on the soldier and tries to get the drink from him.
Sure. He tells you, hey there, buddy, we're friends and all, but this is my Western Brew. They're handing it out.
Hold on. Because that gives me advantage on persuasion. That's a 23. Give me the coffee. Give me the Irish coffee. I
He
assume
goes-
it's got
he goes-
alcohol in
He
it.
goes, okay, you clearly need this more than I do. I can always get another cup.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
He goes,
Kaine
yeah.
takes it and leaves.
Anything for a friend. They call this stuff a cup of Joe around here, mostly because our cleric Joe was the one who discovered these weird beings out in some tropical forest he was adventuring through once, and he brought them back and made this stuff. And yeah, it's great. It's all the rage now. We're trying to import it everywhere.
Hell yeah, Joe. Good job.
Kaine tastes it like a fine wine.
Yeah.
All over the palate, just, soaking
it's
it
got
in.
the right kind of burn in your nasal passages from the alcohol, and it's smooth and robust and oh so piping hot. It scalds your taste buds, but boy, does it sure taste like waking up in the morning.
It is the best part of waking up. So Kaine is now trying to figure out how to make coffee in the future.
Mhm.
But I have eschewed my my screwdriver mimosa for this new beverage, which is my new favorite.
Sure, yeah. All right. Everybody else, are you getting breakfast and coffee?
Yep.
All right.
Rigby is just sitting there, and then he's using his mage hand to like feed himself the oats.
Like thick bacon.
Yeah. But specifically in a way where his feet are up on the table, or like wherever like they can be most prominently displayed to show off his winnings, even though nobody probably notices. But that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of like twirling the rapier in the air, just like while the thing is feeding him.
Yeah.
Nice boots.
Oh, thanks, you noticed. I got these for 2 gold.
That's not actually a good price for boots, Rigby.
The light just kind of fades a little bit because his winnings are being admonished. So, guys, we going to Polis today? As he just chews on his oats.
Yeah, we probably should.
I'm always down for a library.
All right, and then let's head off. And he takes his rapier and dramatically flares it in a direction, even though it's probably not the right direction.
All right. Yeah, you start walking east instead of west.
Do we know which way it is?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna be like, Rigby, it's not you're going the wrong way. It's the other direction, actually.
You're right! And he just like flips around and points and walks that way.
Yep. Okay. Well, here we go.
Always follow Bird.
Yeah. You guys follow Bird, who knows where she's going. And like I said, it's just an hour-long walk away from the encampment. It's really not that far away. Honestly, the only reason you didn't see it so far is because it is like in this kind of like weird hill valley thing. So you guys were technically on a hill in a forested area, and like once you've crested the hill all the way, you look down and you could see this like shining beacon of like marble stone.
Rad.
Also, you didn't know you were that close to some water, because it is definitely a port city and it is busy. There are ships coming in and out of this Colosseum-like city. There also seems to be some strange like flying contraptions like floating around the city too. They kind of look like what you guys would recognize as airships. But you as player or as characters have never seen these before. So it's kind of a unique experience for y'all to see these weird little flying airships everywhere.
Rigby has the biggest grin on his face with wide eyes, just like, we gotta get on one of those. We gotta get on one of those.
Anyways, so you guys make it to Polis within an hour. It's just a leisurely jaunt for y'all. As you reach the gates of Polis, there are these tall standing pillars that just almost seem to go to the skies. That's how tall they look to you guys. The guards are dressed in immaculate, shiny gold and white, like plated centurion armor with gleaming purple capes. They kind of stare at you hard for a brief moment as they allow other citizens through the gates, and ask you for your shared knowledge donation.
Oh, interesting. Oh, gosh.
Does anybody want to make a perception check for me?
I will. 17.
Excellent. Okay, so you're 17. You notice a giant carved sign above the pillars where the guards are standing, and it says, all knowledge is sacred here, so only shared knowledge permits passage here.
Shared knowledge. What do I understand what shared knowledge means? Like, what does that mean to us?
You have to give knowledge that is deemed valuable enough to permit you entry to the city.
Like, valuable to the community as a whole?
Just whatever you deem is
Okay.
valuable.
Got it.
Do we each need something, or are we just like giving something as a
So
group?
I'm gonna say, as you guys are pondering this, a citizen walks past you, and when the guards ask him for shared knowledge, he just gives like a brief runoff of like how crop rotation works or something like that. And they nod kind of like sagely at him, like they hadn't heard this news before, and just permit him entry. So you get the idea that like you just have to share some sort of fun fact or like a riddle or something interesting that maybe these particular guards have not heard of.
Unfortunately, a lot of Rigby's knowledge is how to steal things, but I'm not sure that's good knowledge to share to guards.
So Kaine walks forward and walks up to one of the guards and just leans in close, and for just a moment his eyes flash white and he whispers a line of the forbidden knowledge from his packed tome.
Excellent. The face of this stoic-looking guard blanches as you share this information, and cold sweat.
You said all knowledge is
Yeah,
sacred.
cold sweat breaks out onto his face, and as you finish whispering your line of text, the guard immediately stands back up straight, nods his head quickly, and goes, "That is valuable enough for all of you to pass," and like just
Oh!
Come along then, everyone, to the library.
Sweet.
I was
I
gonna
asked the
say,
guards where the library are.
they like kind of look at you strangely and just point big meaty fingers like completely straight into the city, and you notice that the street walking to the street is actually one straight flat line all the way to the center of the city, where a giant round circular tower sits. And he kind of looks at you like, where does anyone find the library? And turns
In the
back.
center of town, apparently, and just goes foxing.
As you guys enter the city too, there's like a tiny little little like squire-like boy who's sitting out there handing out pamphlets. They're little maps, like traveler's maps of the city. And he
I'll
goes,
take a
he's just
pamphlet.
kind of talking to everybody like, have a map of Polis. Map of Polis, everybody. Map of Polis. You know, it's polite to share information now and then. Polis. Just kind of repeating himself and handing out maps to newcomers.
I take one of the maps, but
Sure.
then I take another map, and then I fold the other map into a bird, and I'm like, here you go, here's some information on how to fold paper in a new way, and then I walk away.
Sure. He goes, wow, no one's ever given me that kind of knowledge before. And he kind of just observes it and puts it very, very gently down into his little bag next to him and continues handing out pamphlets to only newcomers specifically. He seems to recognize citizens of Polis.
Kaine leans in and takes a map and says, "Everything you've ever had is at the expense of someone else," and walks away.
No.
I love this city. I'm never going to leave.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, so if you look at your maps, the entire city is one big circle with each district is a ring, and none of the rings districts are cut off from each other. The only difference to them is how closer to learning they are as opposed to actively doing or performing knowledge.
I see.
Yeah. So the farther out from the center of the city is more practitioners of knowledge, and the farther in is in the pursuit of knowledge.
It's kind of cool. All right. And if all knowledge is shared, then we shouldn't have any problem finding what we're looking for. So that's good for us.
Depends on what you find valuable.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, I guess we just wander in that direction.
Sure.
How close to the ground are these flying machines, these airships?
They're high in the sky.
Okay, dang it. Okay, all right.
There's nothing you can clearly get to. I mean, the closer you get to the port side of the city, it seems that there's a water docking zone and an air docking zone.
Okay.
And you can see the sky ships in all various makes and sizes. Some look like giant blimps, and some look like little rowboats with sails.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I will follow Bird, as I intend to do.
It's literally just a straight road through the middle of the
It
city.
doesn't matter, I follow
There's
Bird.
nothing
It's
anywhere else
habit
to
at this
go.
point.
Okay.
So as you guys get closer and closer to the library, to all kinds of different types of vendors and merchants call out to you for their different types of wares. Some promise, increases in intelligence, and others promise maps to hidden treasure, and anything that would kind of ensorcel people who like to find the unknown and who want to learn new skill sets and stuff like that. Not all of it seems like it might be real. Some of it seems like it might be a gimmick to get people to try something they're merchants. They're trying to sell you something, right? But they know that the citizens of Polis glean towards learning things they've never done before and having new skill sets. So even if it's a crock of shit, they're going to try it.
Okay.
Also, when people call out their food wares to you guys, they don't market them as skewered meat or whatever. They market them as, protein from an unknown land, roasted over an open flame, charred to perfection, taste the other side of the world type thing.
Rigby is going to use an invisible mage hand as we're wandering to just like slowly pluck a few different meats and weird things from the vendors as we walk by.
Sure, yeah. So you sample the wonders of the world as they
And
are
I
somewhat
hand them out to the
new.
party too. I'm just like, oh, try this one, try this one, try this one.
Sure. As you go along, let's see here. I'm gonna say Doffy. You eat a piece of meat and you go, pretty sure this is barbecued rat. Tastes like barbecued rat.
Don't ask why I know what that tastes like. None of your business.
But it doesn't taste bad. It doesn't.
I look at Doffy. This one's the rat.
Beggars can't be choosers.
You kind of think it might also be rat because it looks like it might be a piece of like flayed rat leg or something. You can see the little tiny bones in it.
I think Kaine is from a place that is far away and would be looking for things that are authentically exotic.
Sure.
Because he's traveled more than most people.
You don't find anything that's truly exotic in the first couple of districts. But as you get towards the middle districts, like close enough to the center where you're maybe a district or two out, you do start to notice genuine far off wares, including like different types of grain bowls with meats and exotic looking fruits and vegetables, and you see like different types of decanters that are in a completely different style than you're used to. They have more flair. They're not as plain. They also give off like a slightly different magical signature than stuff you're used to.
I think Kaine, if he can find it, is going to buy some spiced wine, actually pay for it. And then if there's anything like from his homeland, which like normally is like a fish and rice type thing, like a wild mixed rice with like a lot, like really heavy on the spice and seafood, he's going to buy some for Bird to try.
You definitely see a stall where an exotic looking gentleman with finely painted face makeup is selling what looks like a little box with different types of like almost like a rice pilaf type thing, and you can smell heavy spices of ginger and different and like saffron and stuff like that. And he doesn't seem to be calling out to anybody. There's simply a sign that says share share a song or tune or sing a poem, a verse or two, and I shall feed for you.
He's gonna sing a song. All right, I'm gonna roll a performance check.
Okay.
He's gonna try and sing a song in his native tongue.
Okay.
He's not really good at it, but it's at least genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never mind. He's okay at it. 16.
Okay. Yeah. The man is very surprised to hear you speak his language here, because even though this is a place of learning, he still has not actually heard the native tongue of his people in quite a bit of time since being at the city. And he thought all of the northerners would have, really have appreciated his southern lands food and culture, but it seems not. So even though it is a song familiar to him, he appreciates you spreading your culture in such a manner that he brings you 2 giant steaming plates of this rice and fish and steamed vegetables.
So I take them back to the group and kind of pass them around.
Sure. Yeah.
And then don't like make it like a like don't tell them like why I chose this or anything. Just kind of be like, yeah, I mean it smelled good, kind of a thing. And it's like secretly like kind of like having a moment. Like he's like, I haven't had this in so long. Like we don't get foreign foods in this land.
Yeah. I like how you're having this moment with this gentleman, and the cat's like fucking assaulting Jeffrey with his tail. All
He's
right.
with Stacy now. It's fine.
You guys have delicious spiced fish and stuff as you walk closer to the library. Are any of you, by the way, looking for anything specific too? That like, I mean, this is kind of the it town if you're looking for something.
I will go last because
Um,
Rigby is looking for something really stupid.
Sure.
I'm not really looking for anything specific, but like I don't know. I just like weird little neat trinkets. So like I don't know if there's anything like small and shiny that like does something interesting. I'm probably gonna want to look at it.
Let's see here.
Oh yeah, don't you have like a trinket bag that's just like full of shinies?
I do have a trinket bag, yes.
So, Bird finds like a stall that sells those like bird-shaped whistles, like you ever see those at the market before, but instead of being made out of like clay or wood or something like that, they actually look like they were grown out of crystals, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. And you find the vendor has a tiny sign scrawled on his stall that like kind of explains the process of how he creates these what he calls are bird songs. And what it is it's actually the articulated skeleton of a bird that has had different types of minerals grown over it and then carved out to mimic the cry of whatever bird it was.
That's really, really cool. So, wait, does it, everything here, you don't like, so for what it seems so far, you don't like pay with physical money, right?
Some merchants, you've noticed, like the closer to the gates they were, they took gold and copper and they traded and bartered. But the closer
Yeah.
you got to the library, the more often enough they asked for specific knowledge. And they wanted, like depending on the vendor, they wanted like true knowledge of like an art form or a skill set or something. So not very many of them wanted something like a song or like an experience or something. They wanted kind of like mini lectures or like how to create a certain thing or
Okay.
You're paying TED Talks.
That's,
Yeah,
yeah, kind of. Okay, is there like a sign or anything that says what I need to...
So the sign out front says share information of a skill you know intimately, or each bird is 100 gold pieces.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna start fucking talking about tracking because I could do that forever.
Yeah. So the portly looking man who runs the stall is very intrigued about the ins and out of tracking down different types of animals, because all of his birds he has raised before they've died. So he's never actually hunted for any of his birds. They were all bought and traded and raised indoors in pens, and like the idea of having to maybe one day go after his own wild birds like fascinates him. And so the idea of like finding the different types of you know, feces in order to find the type of bird, the different types of feathers, learning how to find the animal based off of the prey that hunts it, like all of this is very up his alley.
Yes.
So for that, he deems you worthy to pick any of the small to medium large birds in his set.
Okay.
He does have one bird
Yeah.
that is like it's the size of a medium-sized dog. Like it's huge for a bird size. It's like a small eagle type shape. And he says the sound that this bird makes is more akin to like a screeching caw rather than a song.
Huh.
And
Can I hear it?
sure, yeah. So he blows on the bird spout, the little mouthpiece that he's attached to this bird, and like this guttural like roar caw thing like cracks out like thunder and echoes in the alleyways around you, and every person
Everyone in the vicinity is like, the
and
fuck?
stares and just kind of claps about this beautiful song that they've been blessed with. They've never heard before and was shared with them for free.
Oh my gosh.
But as he has blown on this bird, you suddenly feel like really invigorated and like that, you could just like punch a guy and it would be fun. It would just be good. So you get the idea that maybe this kind of instores like a battle cry type.
Okay, so how much for the big one, though? I know, like, I could tell you something else, or I do have gold if you want.
He says for this one, you would actively have to teach him a skill to like a journeyman skill set, or it is 3,000 gold.
What if we could teach you several skills at once, verbally?
He says, for that, I would give gladly, and more.
Kaine begins to describe absolutely everything he knows about sex.
Wow.
Just keep going.
Yeah, but are you teaching the man, or are you just speaking?
I
to
think
him?
you have to
I
have
am.
sex with the man to teach him the thing.
No. I did say verbally.
Okay,
But it's a lot of different techniques. We're going in. He's never gonna have trouble in the bedroom again.
Are you? Well, hold on. I have a question. Are you a Pact of the Old One, Warlock?
I am indeed.
Can't you like mind meld with him and just like dump knowledge into his mind?
Technically, yes, but it would take one of my 2 spell slots to do, so I'm not gonna do that. As often as that is, if the DM would let me do it for flavor, I would do it. But there's actually a spell slot that takes, so no.
You know what? I'm gonna say
I have a 19 charisma, by the
he's
way.
so impressed with your because you're like acting out these sex acts. By the way, you're just like
oh yeah, it's a scene.
Like, doing like weird bendy motions while you're doing this, and you can see his eyes sparkling a little bit. He's just not sure, but he's pretty happy with what's going on. He's just not sure if that's super what he was looking for. But he's
intimate knowledge.
He's willing to barter. He tells you for this and 1,000 gold, he will give you the Thunderbird.
Well, what about this and what Bird gave you? We've already started paying.
I could teach you kind of how to use a bow, and then, with the tracking stuff, maybe you could, like, try to get, a bird on your own? I don't know.
Sure. Okay.
Or we can have sex, if that's what it takes.
I would, what about the bow? I think the bow would be a good option.
So, for an hour of archery training and Kaine's hip thrusts of seduction, the man agrees to give you the Thunderbird.
Amazing.
It's so cool.
It comes with Stacy. It has a fancy strap that attaches it to you, so it sits at your waist side like a giant handbag, pretty much. Yeah, and even though it's covered in crystal, it's surprisingly light because it's so hollow inside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. This is my favorite thing that I found so far.
So now you have what in your inventory slot you can put down as a Thunderbird horn.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say that I'll have to look at it, but like something that pretty much instills like a battle cry type energy to it. I'll say it gives everyone in your surrounding area that's an ally. I'll say it gives them +1 to attack and damages.
That's rad.
For how long?
I'm gonna say for 10 minutes. So long enough.
That's a long time.
Yeah. You all
So
feel really good as you're like instructing your
So I
dude
have
on.
a certain number of uses per day or something. I'm
I'm
'cause
gonna
I feel
say if
can't just
you
keep using that.
if you use it more than twice a day, you'll get a point of exhaustion. So
Okay, so
just because
twice a day.
it takes a lot of lung power to blow on it. Like the vendor made it look really easily, but when you tried to blow on it, you were like,
Yeah. I do not have quite that much lung capacity.
yeah. All right. Anybody else?
I would be
This is a side
looking
quest, so
for. I would be looking for any symbols of my patron, any. Honestly, we're going to a library, but I think Kaine's always sort of looking for really old books.
sure. You don't find a street vendor, but you do find like a strange, decrepit lady who sits in the doorway of what looks like a house. And she just stares at you very intensely with like one eye is completely blind and the other eye almost looks like glass, but is clearly moving.
Can I help you, old mother?
She says to you in a language you understand, but her lips do not move. And whispers to you of dark secrets and a friendly entity that you know to be your patron.
Well met.
She nods very, very, very slightly to you, where nobody else really seems to know that this is happening. And ever so slowly, she reaches into her gnarled-looking robes and pulls out a tiny, like, folded piece of paper. It's kind of like weathered and looks like the strong wind would just blow it to crumbles, and just hands it to you. And before you can completely take it, she grabs your hand and pulls you in to look at you. And you can kind of sense her also mind melding with you and asking for knowledge in return. And you can share whatever it is you wish to share with her.
All right. Here's some knowledge for you, milady. I haven't decided if I'm going to let him win or not yet, but I think it's going to be a good time either way. And I reach into my pocket and I take out a tiny white stone and I put it in her hand.
She accepts your trade and flips the stone in her hand and just puts it back into her robe where the paper came from. In the little paper, that she hands you is a spell of your choosing.
Rad.
So, and when I say this too, the paper itself, the words do not sit still on it until you've made up your mind about what they're going to say. It's a one-time scroll for sure, but very useful. Anybody
Awesome.
else?
I keep that.
Doffy, what are you after?
See, I'm not sure I'm really after anything. My main idea was just wanting to go swindle these people. Get a
Swindle these people? Okay.
Because I've heard this is a great recipe to make something.
Sure, yeah. So you go around blatantly lying to people, and just trading lies for things. You are so confident in the lies that you give these people that they believe they have to be true. And it's not any sort of like specific like charisma bluff. It's literally just like these people have never heard about, you know, your type of work because they're simple merchants. So they just believe you based on the fact that you're an adventurer and you must know about adventures. So you get little things here and there, like you get a snack and you get some sweets, and someone trades you a nice looking small jug. You're not really sure what it's for, maybe syrup. Just things like that. You find a nice you find a pair of nice silk slippers that don't really fit your kobold feet, but boy, you're sure gonna wear them. And you pop your little kobold toes through the silk, but they sure looks good still.
Hell yeah.
We need to find the cup of Joe.
Rigby?
Meh.
Rigby's looking for the tallest building he can find, and he's paying very close attention to sky ships that are flying nearby.
Sure. So you're so enamored with the ships in the sky and looking up that you fail to notice a fairly burly dwarf, and you run headlong into him. And he gets a little bit flustered at first because he was also looking at something, but he was looking down at the blueprints in his hand, which fall to the ground. And as he's cursing to himself in Dwarvish and like trying to find his bearings and dusting the dirt from the road off of his very shiny ginger beard, you look down and notice the blueprints and see that they are of a skyship that you don't see in the sky.
Ooh, yes, I'm very interested in this.
Yeah.
I use Mage Hand to just very quickly like pick up all the papers off the ground and put them back in his hand.
Sure. So he's very surprised at the fact that you so very easily managed to pick up all those papers, and you even dusted them off, and you didn't crinkle them. And he gives you a very astounded nod, and he goes, "Oh, pardon me, lad. I didn't see you there. I was too engrossed in my schematics, working on a new ship. You see, one to beat all these other flies in the sky."
Oh, that's awesome. I've never seen a sky ship before. And I'm sorry I bumped into you too. I was just paying attention to them. They're so amazing how they just fly up there.
And he goes, "Ha! If you think those gnats are amazing, just wait until you see this baby in action." And kind of just talks to you a bit about this new revolutionary design he has in a skyship, and tells you that his name is Borton Battleborn, And he runs a shipbuilding company down by the docks called the Battleborns. And that you should stop by one of these days if you really want to see a grand ship.
Heck yeah, I give him my name, kind of tell him who I'm traveling with, and not go into detail why we're here, but just like obviously seeking knowledge in Polis. So
Yeah, and he is a little funny because he's not looking for knowledge from you. He actually looks like he just wants to share his knowledge with somebody who he deems is worthy.
Okay, all right, that's cool.
So you can get that little glint in his eye when like somebody's really passionate about something that they just want to go off on, but they're just not sure who to talk to because everybody else has brushed them off for so long. But
I
yeah,
think Rigby is an avid listener for this.
Sure, yeah. So he just keeps repeating to you like she's almost ready. She's almost ready. Just a few more tweaks. And tells you to definitely come stop by and visit him at his shop before you leave.
Rigby's like, oh, definitely. But okay, so have you ever thought about one for like one person? Just like a small one, like a board maybe?
He goes, what do you think this is on the side of the rig? And like you kind of notice on the blueprints, the blueprint, first of all, is a smaller, compact boat that seems like it might hold a maximum of 6 people onto the ship. And then it's got like little side boats that look almost like wider skateboards, but like that kind of boat shape there. It's like pointy in the front and kind of curved in the back, and it's got a little tail fin, and it definitely looks like a sky glider with an engine.
Oh yes. He goes, yes, I'm definitely going to bring my party later. It's so nice to meet you. I shake his hand and I kind of run off to find the rest of the group. I will say my original plan was if a sky ship got close enough, I was going to cast spider climb and sprint up the building and jump off to see if I could grab onto one.
Alrighty. Well, another side quest for another day.
Yeah.
So as you get stars in your own eyes thinking about what he called a scrivener,
Sweet.
That's what he's called his style of boat. It's called a scrivener. You'll make it to the grandiose shadow casting library of Polis. So here you are at the great library gates, and people are coming in and out of the building, and it looks like from what you can tell there's like this large directionary in front of the library, and it tells you the different floors are different types of knowledge, very specific. So ground floor is general knowledge, like where do I go find this, and basic stuff that anybody could learn in school type of thing. But if anybody wanted to refine it, they could go look at it. And the higher up they go, the more like very specific things become. There's a smithing hall, and there's a crafting hall specifically for leather working type knowledge. And there's definitely different branches of arcane magics in there. So just depends.
Like basically, downtown pals. We got to go to the gold room if we want the art books.
Yeah. Exactly. Alrighty.
As we're walking up, I noticed the giant
It's the
crystal
rose room
bird.
that has the art books. I'm sorry. I was being stupid and not actually being truthful. Stacy had to call me out.
Put you in.
Listen, if we're going to talk about the gold room, you got to get it right.
Oh my goodness. Rigby's like...
Spend a lot of time in that room, okay?
Rigby's like, oh my gosh, Bird, what's on you?
What's on you?
Yeah, what's on you? You
What?
have like a giant crystal bird on your hip.
Oh.
No, I was wandering around looking at sky ships.
Oh, well, okay. So, it's like a horn thing. There were a bunch of little ones there. That's the bird. And there's like a skeleton in it, but also there's crystal on it, and you can blow, and it makes a big like sort of loud cawing sound, and it makes you feel like really good.
Oh, is that what that
but it
sound
kind of
was?
takes a lot of energy. Probably, yeah. I don't know if it's the same sound that we heard, that you heard, but probably, yeah.
Okay, all right. Kaine, you find anything interesting?
No, but I gave a great TED talk.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'll have to repeat it for you sometime.
And then Rigby looks at Doffy and he goes, "Nice jug," and then continues to walk towards the library.
I get told that a lot.
Okay.
Then I just hand the jug.
What are you guys specifically looking for in this library? As you enter, there seems to be a, of course, giant circular counter where there are like 50 different employees, like a giant bank type thing, like directing different people to the type of information they're looking for. And you just see behind the counter are a bunch of like life-size fairy-looking people. In like different shades of purple and green and bright pink and stuff like that. And they all have very high-pitched voices, but they're like 5 foot something, and they have giant fluttering wings, and they're just flying around and helping people locate the different types of information they're seeking.
I know we've seen some weird stuff, but this town just keeps getting crazier and crazier. Do you think we should ask one of them where the books on Kia are?
We could just go to the religion room, I'm sure.
I don't know where that is.
So as you guys are talking to each other, poof, a little ball of light comes right in between you guys and is bouncing around with you guys. And you know this to be a tiny wisp. And it goes, "Oh boy, I heard the name Kia and I just came scrambling because she's just my favorite. Do you know about her, the great sage? Do you know? She's just so great."
I'm so glad I didn't smack it. Jeffrey, you muted yourself.
God damn it. Well, you saw the hand motion. I was gonna smack it.
You smack it? Okay. Roll.
No, he didn't. He said he was going to smack it.
Smack it. I was gonna say.
Yeah, no, he did not smack it.
Okay. Well, good that you didn't smack the poor wisp. She's just very excited.
I'm just like, I just heard that name yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. When we got attacked by a bunch of dead things that didn't have faces and oozed black ichor as blood.
Oh boy, that sounds really unhealthy. They really shouldn't bleed like that. But I'm not sure that the sage probably knows all about them.
The sage is a living person?
Of course. She's the living body of knowledge.
Like here now, like right here in this building?
Well, yes and no. She exists here without existing here. It's very, how you say, mysterious. Yes, I can take you there, though. She's on a special floor that doesn't go up but goes down.
Sure. What can we lose?
Why not?
Oh boy, that's just so great. I'm just gonna have you sign these waivers if we're gonna go down there. And like a stack.
Insight.
Go ahead.
Fuck.
I think Kaine is very wary of signing anything from other creatures.
It's like
and extraplanar entities.
Yeah, look, I was going along with it up until that point, then I was like, oh no. No.
What exactly is in the waiver?
So the waiver is a very detailed copy that says you will not sue the, as it puts it in big bold words, the dungeon, for the following, and it like lists a whole bunch of things. It's very specific about bodily harm and maiming, deaths, the absorption of a soul, so on and so forth. That you take your own bodily autonomy into play here when entering into the dungeon. But if you follow the wisp and only follow the wisp and do not get off of the path, then you shall not come to any harm within the dungeon. But if you don't follow the wisp and decide to enter the dungeon as a adventurer, then you shall be entered into a life or death situation until you complete the dungeon and gain the knowledge or the prize at the end of the road.
So what do we get if we just follow the wisp?
So if you follow the wisp, she takes you to where your agreed upon statement in the contract is said to. So in the blank space there magically appears taking to see the sage Kia.
Gotcha. And this is specifically just for the sage? Like, if I wanted to learn about pottery in this place, do I have to go through a dungeon?
No,
or can
she
I
tells
just
you
go
that's
to
on
the...
second floor.
Okay, great. Okay.
So what exactly is the purpose of having the dungeon in a library and also putting this sage person in it?
Well, some knowledge is more sacred than other knowledge, and so it's got to be protected. Yes, we like to share all knowledge, but knowledge also has to be earned to a certain degree.
Okay, sure, but a dungeon just feels like a weird choice to me. I don't know, Kaine, should we sign these?
I mean, as long as you stay on the path, no harm will come to you. It's not really entering the dungeon, it's more like bypassing the dungeon.
I guess.
And if we don't sign these, we're entering as combatants.
Well, if you don't sign them, I can only take you to the entrance, and then you have to figure out where she is.
I only rolled an 11 on my insight, but does that get me anything?
She seems very sincere and very excited.
I don't know if I want to trust any contract that a potentially Fey-based creature is offering me.
Is that Jardin or Rigby, though?
That is more Jardin, but I think Rigby knows just enough to be like, nah, that shit's not cool. He's not dumb. He has a 16 intelligence. He's just dumb about some things.
Are you the smartest person in this party?
I think
How smart is Doffy?
No, Doffy is.
Doffy, what you got? You trust the whip?
I guess, can I make a check too?
Yeah, please do.
What is your intelligence
What am I
score?
doing for 19
Yeah, he's the smartest one in the room.
for intelligence? Why, I don't fucking know. Insight.
What is Rigby's?
16.
That is a 15.
That's much better. You understand that she is being really honest with you. And the contract doesn't seem like it's lying. It's just also a lot of information.
I don't know, guys. It's less trouble if we just sign it.
Rigby's thinking about it some more, and he asked the question. So, if we did enter as adventurers, any knowledge we do find in the dungeon is just up for free? We just find it, we get it?
Yeah, that's how it works. You have to go through the dungeon, but you earn all the knowledge along the way.
What's the prize?
Well, it depends on what section of the dungeon you're in. If you go through, say, a magically invested area, then the prize at the end is normally going to be something based off Arcana. Normally a high-ranged artifact, or maybe even some sort of spell book, magical robes, maybe. Just really kind of depends on what you've earned along the way.
Doffy, contract.
But like, we want to sign it.
I will
why
tell
not?
you
It looks
that I
pretty
can
good.
always take you to the stage as long as you sign the waiver, and then afterwards you're free to explore the dungeon if you'd like. I'm just saying that between now and then you have to obey the path, or else you'll just void the contract.
So nothing will happen to us on the path, but what about once we get off the path and we're in front of the sage? Is she going to eat us? Is she a gynosphinx?
Oh no, heavens no. The sage is an old lady. She's just how do you say, a normal human? She just happened to be cursed once upon a time to live eternally.
Okay, that explains.
Yeah. Hard to not be
Alright,
a
I'll
sage
sign
when
it.
you've lived for over 1,000 years.
Yeah, I guess we'll sign it then. I'll sign it. I don't know about anyone else.
I'll sign it with a fake name.
The wisp kind of like hovers
Yeah, I'll
at you
sign it.
for a second and goes, "It still works that way too, you know." Kind of.
It was worth a go.
So she turns like a pink color after you guys sign the contract, and she's just very excited. And she goes, "Oh boy, we get to see the sage again. I barely get to go down there anymore. So many adventurers wanting to go deeper into the tunnels and all that, you know. Okay, let's go." And like, as she starts to like get all excited and change colors and stuff like that, little like pixie dust type thing starts to travel around, and a set of spiral stairs starts to appear in the middle of the hall that you're standing in. And nobody else really seems to notice that the stairs are there. Like, people who pass are just kind of walking through and whatnot, and they don't seem to go down the stairs. You have a feeling that this is some sort of mechanism about the dungeon that like only allows people who have signed the contract or have signed the waiver or whatever to be able to enter the dungeon, so that people don't just accidentally go in there. So down the stairs you go, or at least she went. She says, "Follow me."
Follow the wisp
Okay.
to our destiny.
Yeah, I was like, normally you do not follow the will of the wisp, but here we are.
I don't like this at all, Kayla.
So down into the spiral dungeon you go, and it is like pitch black in here as soon as you like leave the light source from the library, except for the light that the wisp is emitting, which she's emitting a fair decent amount of light. It's just all in front of you guys.
Rigby's the only
entire-
one who can't see.
Yeah. So the entire time she's just like kind of humming to herself and just like
I cast a light cantrip on Rigby, one of Rigby's weapons, just
Sure.
so that, like, on the hilt, just so you can see.
Sure.
Sure,
So a
thanks.
nice bright glowing orb appears from your hilt, so your handle of your sword, and emits you in warm light, and you can see all the stairs and stuff like that. And she tells you, she goes, "That's a smart idea. Do you know how many adventurers come down here and they don't even bring a torch? None of them can really see, well, except maybe the elves and the dwarves and things like that. But still, how many humans come down here and they just can't see a darn thing? They just expect me to light it all for them."
Humans
And,
are
like,
like that,
yeah.
unfortunately.
So and she's just kind of like blabbering away at you, and like as you guys get to the bottom landing, she goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'll have to jump. Miss that stair. It's trapped for some reason. Not a very big trap, but a small trap.
Jump
Just like
over
just
the
like
stair.
just the last stair for some reason. You just kind of like take like a big step
It's
over
like-
it,
Hop over.
Do it.
tap over it. Yeah." She goes,
Yeah,
"One of these days
casual
we'll have to fix that
hop.
nasty thing." Yeah. It's not even like a big enough thing to make anybody make a dex step. She's just like, "It's just there for some reason. I'm not even sure if it's rigged anymore. I'm sure somebody stepped on it one time ago and it just went poop. But that's about it. It's there. And so I have to tell you that it's there. Because I promised you that no bodily harm would come to you as long as you stayed on the path. And we are on the path.
Okay, that's awesome. Oh, this is gonna go so bad so fast.
Why is this happening? Why are we putting ourselves through this, you guys?
Because this party does this. We just do jobs.
We're not getting anything.
All right. So, as you guys get to the bottom of the staircase, you come into a one long giant hallway. And down each hallway are little arched doors that go down to separate hallways. And as you pass by each one of them, some of the hallways are lit and they look like caves and caverns. And some of them are like so dark, it seems like shadows are like being pulled out of them into the dark spot you're already in. And some of them are like emitted in frost, and some of them are in fire. Some of them look like an archway that's there but is covered in stones. Some of them are covered in runes. And you get the feeling that this is the path, and then each archway is a different portion of the dungeon depending on what knowledge you're seeking.
Okay.
So this is what she was talking about not stepping off of the path, because each of these rooms that you come across are very enticing. Each one of them calls out to you people as adventurers, almost like singing rewards to you guys. You feel the draw and the pull of going on an adventure and doing a dungeon jive and gaining knowledge and skills and power and weapons. Each one of them promising a different type to you. Some of them call out to you less depending on what your class and what your alignment is. Some that are more evil or more good call to you depending on where you stand on that alignment shift. Some of them almost tell you to go away because they don't like your class or alignment or your race or anything. They tell you to just go away. This isn't for you. This is not your adventure. And it's kind of an interesting idea that some pull to you and others reject you, even though you could still enter them. And some rooms immediately, as soon as you come to them, gleam in gold and treasures right off the get-go. And you see like golden coins falling to the ground, and they look like they're going to roll out of the door into the path and stop and just disappear as soon as they cross that doorway. So
Keeping a close eye on Doffy and Rigby.
yeah, what are y'all doing?
Rigby is trying to take mental notes of which doors are like, pick me, and I'm just like, yes, I'll be back for this.
Just so you know, too, as you guys are walking along, each door has a number above them. They're literally numbered. Room number 25, room number 58. And it doesn't seem like you're walking along for very long, but you've already reached like room number 783.
Wow.
But you swear that it's only been like maybe 5 minutes since you've entered the dungeon. And, you know, of course, the wisp is still just talking as she goes about this thing and anything, and sometimes about the rooms, and sometimes about, oh, it's so hard to be a wisp sometimes. And just all kinds of things. Until finally she stops at a door labeled room number 906. And she goes, well, this is it. This is where the sage is at. And the door is covered. It looks like a normal cottage door in the middle of a dungeon. Like, it's painted with like peeling yellow paint, and it's got a small little window on it and some dried flowers hanging out. There's even a little doormat out there, and a tiny sign that says "Wipe your boots." And yeah, she goes, so this is where the sage is at. Follow me, please. And she just goes through the door. You know, the door doesn't open because she's a wisp, but she goes through the door.
Rigby wipes his boots, and does the door open in or out?
In.
and he opens the door and gestures for the other people to walk in first.
Sure. You hear the little chiming of a bell like in a shop when you open the door. Ting-ling-ling.
Kaine wipes his feet and goes in.
Yep. Wipe those shoes off. Trot on in.
Doffy?
I wipe my shoes off, but then I just stare at Rigby because I'm like, you gonna go?
Rigby just leans in. He's like, which door were you thinking? I was thinking 48 and 236.
Just walks in. Ignoring Rigby, just like, fuck it. No.
17 perception check. I grab Rigby by the scruff of his, the collar of his shirt and just pull him in.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So as you guys enter into the doorway, it looks like a little old witch's cottage type of thing. There's like fresh herbs, some drying, some on like a little table that's been well kept. There's a small bookshelf with like what looks like well-read books. There's a little eatery, and like strangely enough, the little windows that are in here like emit a warm sunlight as if it's a sunny afternoon day in the middle of the forest. It smells earthy in here and fresh and slightly minty too, from some freshly crushed mint. That smells like some tea's been brewing recently. And you can hear what sounds like tiny little tinkling sounds, and you realize that it's the little wisp who's laughing, and she makes this tiny little tinkling ringing sound when she laughs, and you hear like the laughter of a little old lady who's like having a fine conversation with this little tiny wisp. And you enter around the corner and come into her little like kitchen area, and stands a very old, very decrepit looking Obaba. Like she looks like the wind can just like knock her over anytime. And she turns her head ever so slowly at you as she shakes, and she goes, "Oh, it looks like you've brought me some visitors, my dear Wisp. Oh, thank you. What are they here for?" And the wisp kind of goes, "They're looking for you, oh sage. They want to know things. I don't know what things. I forgot to ask. I just heard your name and thought that they should come visit you." "Oh dear, that's very sweet of you. It's been quite a long time since I've got any visitors. Nobody speaks to the old sage anymore."
I bow as best as I can, and pulling on those old royal manners from years ago. And I'm just like, "Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you, great sage. My name is Rigby, and this is my party." And I just sort of like gesture at them, like taking Kaine's hand off of my neck.
Yeah. She goes, "Oh dear, such manners. You even all wipe your boots at the door. Thank you so much. Sometimes adventurers come in here and they drive all kinds of muck from the other dungeons in. And it's just, well, it's so hard to get down on my knees and scrub these floors nowadays."
Inside check.
I love Kaine's mistrust of everything.
Is that
Is
a
it a
one?
nat one? Oh.
Yeah, one.
Natural one.
Let's see here. You try to get a feel for this old lady, and you decide you don't trust anybody in this room. How do I know all these other people aren't simply monsters from the dungeon? How do I know that the wisp didn't just lead me to my death?
Kaine just like kind of like backs up like a half step and like clenches up his shoulders and is just like very quiet.
Like feral cat, yeah. All right, anybody else?
Rigby's looking for a place to sit so we could chat.
Sure. You originally thought there was only like one chair at this tiny little table, but then when you blinked back again to look at it, there were suddenly 5 chairs available to sit at the table.
Oh, sweet. And you said there was tea brewing?
There's tea brewing, yeah. You looked at the chairs and then you were really excited, so you looked back at the old lady and then you looked back at the table and there were cups of tea already sat at your chairs.
Rigby kind of chuckles a little bit. He goes, "This is extremely unnerving, but I think it's all right." And he sits down and starts pouring tea for everybody. And he looks at the lady and he's like, "Do you have any Joe?"
She's like, "Joe? I don't know what a Joe is. I had a friend named Joe once. But
Not very sage-like.
A long time ago.
It's like hot bean juice.
Oh, do you mean coffee?
I've never heard it called that, but sure.
This is an ancient brew from a long-lost civilization. Not very many people know of it. How did you?" And your tea turns into coffee instead.
Nice. I just put out one for Kaine for him to sit down, like just push coffee towards him.
Sure. By the way, the interesting thing is, in each of your cups is a drink that you want to drink. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's tea. It just turns into whatever drink you want to drink.
Hell yeah.
Kaine doesn't sit and doesn't drink.
Sure.
Rigby imagines a Thai iced tea or the equivalent in this world.
Sure, yeah. So even your cup changes size to accommodate the type of drink you're looking at.
Sweet. So Rigby looks over at Kaine, like being a little bit more weird than normal, and looks back at the old sage and goes, "So we're here, I think, to talk about Phoenix. Phoenix."
Oh dear, that's a name I haven't really thought about in a while. Why do you call upon him, child?
He looks at Bird and he's like, "Can I have the mask, like the weird mask thing?"
Oh yeah, I'll. Here, I don't know. We found this on like a guy. Well, he was dead already, but then more guys came and they also had masks, and they were not like. I mean, they were dead, but they weren't like dead, you know. It was weird.
I see. What kind of mask?
I put all the 3 gold masks on the table.
The 2 plainer looking ones, she kind of looks at, it's like she recognizes that, yeah, they're burial masks. Like, there's nothing strange about that other than the fact that you guys probably robbed a corpse. But the weird, intricate V-shaped one, though, kind of catches her eye. And she goes, "This one's a bit interesting and more intricate than usual, isn't it?" And she picks it up and kind of looks at it and kind of strokes the face a little bit, and it's just like, must have been a handsome fellow in his life, huh? And she flips it over and notices all of the text work on the back. And like her little bushy eyebrows like shoot up into her hair, and she goes, "My, that is quite something, isn't it?" And starts to read the text and can't, like, she seems a little confused looking at it, but she does recognize the cipher for her name over and over again. And she goes, "Oh, is this what brought you to me then?"
No. A priestess who didn't seem to know us brought us to you.
What a strange priestess. Well, either way, somehow, I have become involved in whatever it is you're involved with. I do not know this cipher, though. This is familiar, but not quite known to me. Hold a moment, please. She places the mask back down on the table so that it stays with you guys, and slowly gets up from her chair and kind of shuffles away to her little bookshelf, and starts to pull out more books than looks like what's available on the shelf. Like they just kind of materialize as she pulls almost out of thin air. And she's got a bunch of different scrolls and a bunch of different tomes she thinks are relevant. And even though the pile looks like it's too heavy for a little old lady, she brings the whole thing over and sets it down on the table. She reads the first stanza that Kaine, you remember being whispered into your ear again. Hides from eyes of mortals and gods, lies wither in Orestes' rod. And she says this text is purposefully direct. Like it's the line from it's a line from something to Phoenix, the god. As for the rest of it, it's not just a cipher, she believes. But it looks like it's an incomplete cipher, like there's more to it. Certain letters have been removed from the message in a way that makes the pattern indiscernible. And without knowing what the other letters are, the writing is a little bit impossible to decode. Yeah, it's just not, it doesn't completely mean anything just as it is. There's another key to it to complete more of a message.
What if I cast comprehend languages?
Sure, go ahead.
I do.
Okay.
It's not will for me, so.
Okay. You can read what the mask says, but like she says, there's just a piece of it that's missing. It just has like bits and pieces that don't make whole sentences without whatever other piece of the puzzle is missing.
Got it.
Yeah. She tells you, I do recognize the name of Orestes, though. That could possibly refer to the court of Orestes, which is a tomb of one of Phoenix's earliest followers. Although it's supposed to just be a legend, Orestes was a master thief and an oracle who foresaw the becoming of what is called the returned, dead things that come back to life, terrible faceless creatures that only do the bidding of their masters. They're completely mindless, but very powerful. Very, very ugly to look at. Leathery and gross. Ugh.
Well, I think we checked that box, don't you think?
Yes, maybe the things you ran into could have been the returned. That does not bode very well. According to mythos, hold a moment. She flips through a couple of books and finds something she's looking for and points to it with a little gnarled finger and goes, yes, here it is. And she points out according to myth, that the site holds Phoenix's silence, though none know if the name, if it's an object or a poetic flourish, but it seems to have been an item. The fact that it is this readable line begins the inscription leads to translating the full message on the tomb. So she says, yes, this text here tells that the tomb is supposed to be along the Castonis River. That's not very far from here, actually. And she pulls out a map that looks like it's seen better days. But as you guys look at the map, it seems to update itself magically. So it points where your direction is, which it in the specific map, it tells you that you are in the dungeon in the 906th room. As she speaks of the Castonis River, it highlights itself on the map, and little feet print start to march the path from where you are to where the river is. And she goes, yes. It says it's about 3 days' travel away from Polis. No, recently I did hear of a natural disaster in that area. I believe it shook the mountain there rather terribly. And the river has not been flowing as well lately. It's nearly gone dry, actually. Oh dear. This could be grave indeed. And kind of goes mumbling to herself for a little bit. But she suggests that the other portion of what you're looking for could be in the tomb.
I look at the rest of the party. I'm like, well, we're adventurers, right? So it's kind of our shtick. We find a mask on some weird dead bodies called the Return, bleed ichor, serve some sort of guy, whatever his name is, arrest us at some court, and there's an earthquake who unearths some tomb of horrors. I don't know. That's our pulp thing.
Yeah, you're not
I
wrong.
guess so, yeah.
So you guys want to go check out a river tomb somewhere?
Yeah, I'm up for looting a tomb.
There's going to be a
Might
lot
as
of
well.
valuables in there.
Sure. By the way, as you guys are talking and Rigby mentions the name Varius, she goes, now, wasn't that the young rabble-rouser who was devoted to Phoenix? I thought he died, though. Oh, well.
He did.
Again, twice.
If he was a return, I suppose. Ooh, this could be trouble indeed. She kind of tells you that she's had a run-in with that guy when he was much younger, and he's always been a thorn in her side kind of thing, and he's quite the troublemaker.
Oh, they had a thing.
She ordered the hit. I assume we're having this conversation in front of her. Yeah.
Are all of you on board with doing this? Going?
Yeah, totally.
Are any of you kind of this
Yeah.
seems not good?
I mean, it does seem bad, but also
we kind of just find bad
too.
situations. So
yeah, there's just a little fun bit about in the the little information that I have here. Like, if anybody like balks at the idea of not going on this quest, she like pretty much gives them an earful about gods and omens.
Yeah, Rigby doesn't put much stock into the gods, but he understands how powerful they are.
Sure. Okay. So as you all are getting ready to leave, she tells you to hold a moment. I will gladly pay 500 gold for any sort of rubbings or ancient artifacts you may find in the tomb. Those things can be quite valuable in the knowledge they bring. And I know you adventurers like gold. Anyway, just a little side quest, little side business for you. Bring back any sort of rubbings,
Side
etchings,
quest for
and
the side quest.
fun things for Kia, and she will pay you handsomely
So-
for it.
Is that 500 per artifact and rubbing? Like, what if we bring back a lot of them?
I live in the dungeon. I can provide anything for you. And like
Okay.
a pile of giant gold pops up on the kitchen table and like just appears long enough for you to notice it and hear the clink and stuff, and then like disappears again. I can make all of that as long as I'm within the dungeon. The dungeon provides great benefits. Unfortunately, it's also the reason why I'm still alive. Kind of
That's
looks a
super
little
fucked up.
crazy at you, yeah.
You know, you could just like leave probably. I mean, like they're not keeping you here, are they?
I am soulbound to the dungeon now, so yes, I have been kept here against my will. But I also signed the contract a long time ago.
I mean, listen, if you want help with that, maybe like when we're done with all of this stuff, like I'll just, I don't know, maybe we like take a look at the contract or something. I'm sure there's like some way, you know, I'm sure you're really tired of being here. It looks like it's been a long time. So, you know.
Find a bylaw.
You know, Bird, sometimes these contracts, I feel like if we find a suitable replacement, that sometimes frees the contract holder. I'm not volunteering. I'm no way.
You know,
Yeah.
we did like recently release another immortal being from their turmoil, so this seems to
Yeah.
be an ongoing
We're
thing for
weirdly
us.
qualified to help immortal beings and their curses.
In like a very specific way. This is kind of our gig.
Yeah.
She kind of like looks hopeful for a moment, but not so much so that she's gonna put her faith in it. It's kind of like she's heard that story once before. But she wishes you the best of luck in that endeavor anyways. And gives you the map that updates itself.
Hell yeah.
With its marker for the tomb of Ostenis.
I look at the map and I go, and this will tell me anywhere I want to go?
As long as you know the name and the general location, it will find a way.
I ask about the castle that I grew up in, just to the map privately.
The map, like the area you're looking at, like shrinks to like almost a little dot on the map and shows you the area that you grew up in. And like this castle starts to like draw itself like a pen is being ink drawn on the pages.
Gotcha. Rigby's just like, nah, fuck, it's still there. Okay, all right. And he just rolls up the paper and he hands it to like whomever will take it.
Fun fact,
Jackson will
like
take it.
that castle specifically, like if it were ruins, it would have shown you like ruins instead of a castle or like.
I figured. So Kaine has the map.
Yeah. All right.
So Kane's gonna kind of like cool his heels for a second as everybody else gets ready to leave, and is just going to like kind of like lean close to her, and like I assume he probably wears like a scarf or something, so he like pulls it down to show like the mark of his patron, and is like, When we get back, tell me anything you know about this, and in return, I will give you death.
She kind of laughs at you, and she goes, "Oh, sweet, young, stupid boy. I can't die here. But we will talk. We will talk." He kind of hands you a cup of coffee and kicks you out the door.
You'd be surprised what I can figure out, given the time and the motivation.
But yeah, like an old granny telling you to get out of their house. She's like, "Shoo now, shoo. Be gone."
Cool.
Kaine's like almost smiling as he leaves. Like there's just something about this. Like he was really pretty fucked up about it, but the more they went on and he was like, yeah, that checks out. He was like, something about this one. Still hate her.
I still hate her.
Something about her.
All right. So as you guys exit room 906, the little dungeon wisp comes back out again, and she goes, "It's always so fun to visit with Kia. She just knows so many weird things." She's just kind of bouncing along. She's like, "Where to now, adventurers? You've gotten here so far. You can go on a path, or you can go back to up the dungeon and into the library, or..." And then she stops for a moment and just like freezes, as if like just frozen, and like just starts to bob very slowly, like if she's lost all her energy, and a different voice starts to speak through the dungeon wisp, and you hear kind of a more gravelly type voice, and you can tell it's almost like a little kid who's trying to speak more manly than they really are. And he goes, "Lo, behold, brave adventurers, I shall offer you a quest in the dungeon. I would offer you a chance to get you closer to your vantage point than simply leaving Polis. If you accept, I shall pit you against one of my strongest beasts and succeed, and I shall drop you where you seek instead of the 3-day walk on your human legs."
You're a fucking racist.
I'm a what?
A racist. You just assume we're all human? That's fucking racist.
Maybe he has bad eyesight because he's looking through
You
a
all
wisp.
You all have 2 legs and arms.
That doesn't make them human legs. You're fucking
Humanoid.
racist.
That's humanoid, so you're human.
That is fucking racist.
You know,
I
do
pick
you
up
know
Doffy and I'm like, "Do you
deep
see
down
this
all
thing?"
of your DNA is almost the same. It's literally like one chromosome away from every type of race.
You know,
Literally-
I have like a tail. Do you see the ears?
Do you see
Guys,
their
I think we
ankles?
need to go
Like, they
beat
don't
up a
even go the same
child.
way as a human's ankles. Like, fucking racist.
Listen, all humanoid DNA is almost the same. I can.
So you're saying all humanoid DNA matters? Is that what you're saying? That's what you're saying to me?
You know what it's like to go through 7,000 different races of humanoid and only find that only one tiny thing makes them different? It's very hard to make other humanoids like that. It's very difficult.
You know what? Humans are pretty close to bananas too, if you want to get down to it. But you don't go around calling bananas people.
Actually, I've also created a humanoid banana race. They're called bananas. And they're even closer to humans than bananas are. Anyways,
I was
do you
really
know
hoping
what
this
you
kid's
like to walk-
voice
what
would
do you like
crack
to walk
into his
through
razor.
days? I'm telling you right now.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying.
So
You can-
anyway, I don't work for racists, and I turn to leave. I don't actually go anywhere because I have to follow the wisp. I just turn away like I'm done with you.
What room is he in? What room are you in?
No, like I'll just take you there. You don't have to walk a path. Walking's for 2-leggers. I guess 4-leggers and 6-leggers and 8-leggers.
I don't understand.
You're not
I
being
thought-
very polite. and I don't think you're very nice. And that really doesn't make me want to do anything for you. Even if like maybe whatever we might get out of it would be more convenient for us. Like I kind of feel like I would rather walk at this point, honestly. Like you're
Listen,
just
I'm
not
just
very
trying to cut
nice.
you a deal.
Also,
It's
we
very
could buy
boring here.
horses and get there in less than 3 days anyway. And then we wouldn't be on our stupid human legs, would we?
No, you'd just be enslaving four-leggers instead.
4-leggers. Oh, now we're gonna fucking like lump everybody else in together. Sure,
Yeah.
okay, sure, yeah.
All things with legs are leggers. I don't have legs. I can't be a legger. Wait,
You have tentacles.
no. I have no body. Well, this dungeon is my body, so I'm...
Wait, you
Let's do
are
it.
the dungeon.
Kalik,
Yes.
Kalik, I hate you.
Are we gonna do it or not?
No.
Well, listen, there were all those like weird ship things, right? I don't know. Maybe we could like get one to like fly us wherever.
I know a guy.
How do you know a guy? We've only been in this city for like, I don't know, like maybe 12 hours.
I've got my ways. I know a guy.
Okay, well, sure. Yeah, let's talk to your guy then, because this guy seems like he's really rude.
Fine. I was trying to have a little bit of fun, but I guess I'll just go back to building my dungeon. Okay, well, bye then. And like the wisp like just drops to the floor like a little bug that's been swatted from the sky. And she kind of walks up like all like really slowly and drunkenly, and she goes, "What's everybody doing, guys?" Very confused.
Who's the dungeon manager?
What?
Who runs the dungeon?
Well, the dungeon runs the dungeon, silly. It's a dungeon.
No, but there was like a weird, like, small child voice, only he was trying to be like, you know, a man voice coming out of you, and he was really not very nice. He was very rude, actually, but he said that he was like building the dungeon and like making stuff. It was very weird.
She like stops for a moment. She goes, "The dungeon spoke to you?
Unfortunately.
What a great honor that must have been. I can't even imagine." And she turns pink and she gets excited again and she starts talking about the dungeon and like, "I've been working for the dungeon for over 600 years and I've never actually got to talk to the dungeon before. This is so exciting. My entire race is devoted to the dungeons, and it's just so cool to know that the dungeon actually talks."
I mean, you're not missing much, really.
Anyway, she goes, "Oh, I guess she wanted to get to the surface again." So she starts down the path without like even like looking back. But the entire time she's asking you guys, "What was it like? Was it great? What kind of voice did the dungeon have? Oh my god, did it shake the floors around you and cause chaos? Or did it just ask you guys for something? Did it want to send you on a quest?" Like just goes on and on and on. And she leads.
Kaine, with the best of intentions, ruins all of her dreams. Like, just like the driest way possible, explains the exact situation and how terrible it was and how he sounded, and like just like thinks he's doing her a favor by like disenchanting her, but it's like kind of being an asshole.
Sure, she takes everything you said and it just impacts her faith and belief in the dungeon. To her, like, the dungeon's a god, so like, you know, fanatics, you can't tell them anything.
I'm definitely coming back here.
Why?
Anyways, so she leads you back up outside the dungeon, and it takes like 5 minutes, and somehow you've gone from from room 906 to back up to the same floor. And soon enough, you guys find yourself back in the library. And yeah.
Rigby's just like, we gotta get lunch, and then we gotta go to the docks.